Welcome to Tennis 2020. Real talk, real people, real life. If you're watching this in real time, it is Monday. Or if you're not watching it in real life, if you're watching in real life, you know what day it is. But it is currently Monday, the 20th of April, 2020. We are in the middle of the Corona crud pandemic, and we're just kind of figuring out what's going on in the world. I want to thank our sponsors, Austin Tennis Academy and EKH Media, for making this broadcast possible. They want to make sure that we are being the conduit for good information, not the filter for it. So we're here and we're just talking to people and trying to keep it real. Today, I'm talking with a gentleman who is in Maine, so the far northeast corner of this country. He is the head women's coach at Husson University. His name's Josh Warren, and we're going to find out a little bit about what's going on in his world. How you doing, Josh?
Hey, Dewey, I'm doing well. How about yourself? Thanks for having me.
Good. So you're up in Bangor. I have family in Bangor. That's my grandmother's part of the world. So what's it like
Nice.
up there these days? Is it still winter or have you hit spring yet?
It's kind of a little on the fence of trying to get to spring. We actually had a fluke winter storm last week, and a lot of people were without power. We lost power for a couple days. We had some people without power for closer to a week. So that was definitely a surprise and a little bit of a challenge. And it was really nice out yesterday in the 50s, so took a nice walk in the forest, and things are calm and slow, which is the general pace up here. Of course, less interactions than in the past, but it's nice to be up here in Maine. A lot of nature to get out and go explore and breathe in fresh air.
I want to come to some of your fitness things. So I know you're largely involved in the fitness world and yoga world and things. But before we do, I want to talk about collegiate tennis. Here we have a university that we're very closely attached to at Austin Tennis Academy, St. Edward's. Both of the men's and women's coaches are former ATA coaches. ATA has sent many players there over the years. And they just announced last week that they are dropping their men's and women's tennis programs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't hear that. That's upsetting.
it is. And you're at a place where essentially you started a tennis program, am I correct?
I did in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have tennis this north in the eastern portion of the United States. And the athletic director, along with the president of the university, was looking to grow not just the academic, but the athletic programs as well. And tennis was one of the ones they had on the radar. And they reached out to me wondering what it would take to start a tennis program. We decided to start with a women's tennis team first, since that's where we would have the easiest access to courts, so we could use courts down the road and it wouldn't conflict with high school season, since our main season is in the fall and our later season is in the spring.
So you started the program from scratch, women's program, and what does that look like being in the far northern regions of Maine? Do you have, and you're sounds like you're practicing on outdoor courts, so you don't have an indoor facility?
In the fall, it's really nice. We're just coming off the nice weather from the summer and it's not too windy. So we'll play right through the first weekend of October. And we usually don't need to go inside very often for the fall season. And then when we play our spring season, sometimes weather can still be a little bit cold or some snow or rain. And we have access to indoor courts as well, which is where I grew up playing tennis when I was younger. So it's nice to head over there, and the owner of the indoor Armstrong Tennis Center courts, Dean Armstrong, he was a Husson alum, so it's kind of special for him to see a program where he went to school. And it's a really nice community feel to have this program up here. And a lot of the students that go to Husson are just have incredible work ethic, and they come from working class families. And it's a really nice student body, very respectful student athletes and people that go to Husson. So it was exciting to get to start that here. Before the Husson program, I think Colby College and Thomas College in Waterville, Maine, they're an hour south of us. They were the farthest northeast, and having our program up here, we'll play teams in Vermont and Massachusetts. We just added a school last year all the way in upstate New York in SUNY Delhi, and our conference is in a bit of a flux right now, kind of like what you were saying about what's going on there with teams. There's some smaller colleges that are closing down permanently, so it's really unfortunate for those players and the whole staff of those colleges that need to find new schools to transfer to or new jobs, and then for our conference deciding how that's going to be and play out with what our scheduling will look like, but we'll figure it out.
What division are you?
We're Division III. It's a smaller school. Where Husson was a college in 2007 and 2008, they became a university, and we're probably about a little over 2,500 undergrads, and we have a pretty nice grad programs now. So surprisingly, a lot of the players on the team are actually in graduate degree programs. So that's one of the draws to Husson, is that especially when we get players from out of state, a lot of times they're really looking at the combined, like the 6-year physical therapy doctorate program, or the 6-year pharmacy doctorate program, or 5-year master's occupational therapy program, or different 5-year business programs, and other combined programs. And so they're very, very academic focused, and the tennis is a big stress relief for them to get to move around, hit balls, improve, and we have done really well in our conference. We won our conference championships the last couple of years and made it to our first NCAA tournament last year, which was a blast and something that to do in 4 years we were really excited about. And all along the way, though, we focused mostly on the process, having fun, getting better every day, and kind of run an academy style of coaching, but being sensitive at the same time to this is not their main focus at college. They're there for the academics, and to have the tennis as a bonus is really nice for all of us.
So with the success that you're having and having a longer term plan of adding a men's program, has that been accelerated, or where is it on the timeline at this point in time?
The men's program would be nice to have. I think at the moment it's a bit more challenging since we use the high school courts a few minutes away, and we have access to those in the fall when our women's season is in their main conference season. However, a men's program in the current conference that we're in plays their main season in the spring, so it'd be a little more challenging to have access to outdoor courts. We could potentially try to arrange indoor court access. It would just be really nice, I feel like, to get Husson to a space where they're ready to put in their own facilities, which would make a lot more ease to have two programs going.
Right. So I guess the answer is maybe not right this minute, but at some point in time in the not too distant future.
Hopefully.
So
yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your philosophy, because you are very much into whole health, yoga, things like that. What's that philosophy look like, and how does it apply to how you coach people in tennis?
I'm very big on holistic health. I always like to think about explaining holistic health as treating not just the symptoms, you're treating the cause and the symptoms at the same time. Kind of like if you had a piece of like a leaf on a tree that looked discolored, instead of just injecting things into the leaf, you would give nutrients to the roots of the tree and then affect the whole system. And that's how I like to bring my philosophy to the tennis program, as well as the body work that I do. And we really work on bringing our best self forward as people and athletes, and for me as a coach, and we're all improving together. So it's something that when I'm teaching technique for tennis, I'll often hear, like when I was growing up learning different tennis techniques, certain types of symptomatic coaching, such as a player may be late, or using different terms like watch the ball or things like that. And for me, I've done lots of different experiments with mind-body skills, and observing that a lot of times a player might be late or not seeing the ball correctly because of something else, often at a more foundational level. And a lot of times just correcting that cause can, in effect, correct 3, 4, 5 other symptoms all at the same time. So that's one way I work with the players technically, which is also mental too, because it's just getting to what they need to do a little bit quicker, and then focusing on where we do want to go and what they do need to work on, opposed to what we're trying to avoid. And maybe in the beginning, we need to point out, all right, these are some areas that we can do better. This is not happening well for us. And now what can we focus on to make that better? And I think probably the biggest thing is allowing players, especially in doubles, but as a team, to just give each other the permission to make mistakes, to miss shots, to keep utilizing skills that we're working on in practice in their matches, so that matches is a bonus, like an icing on the cake situation, where my coaching to them in a match is not something new or unfamiliar. It's an extension of our practices, where in a way I don't have to even coach as much in a match, because I'll coach a lot more in practice sessions, and then little reminders or affirmations of what to be working on in the match play.
Do you find yourself recruiting a different sort or a specific sort of athlete because you know your coaching style will benefit one type of person rather than the other?
I think so, for sure. I'm always looking at coaching people, or bringing on people to the team that are open-minded and have high integrity and respect. And with those types of qualities, then I know that I can get them from where they currently are to a really high level very fast. Especially, it's nice when you have players that are already strong and have played tournaments. A lot of times up here, I'll have high school players, and they may have not played USTA juniors or things like that. And some may have only played doubles on their high school team, and some maybe played their top singles for a small school somewhere, or and if generally I could get a pretty quick sense of them if they're asking about their academics and how can I balance that with tennis, and they seem really nice, and I generally ask them about their ability to be coached and taking feedback, and feel out that kind of conversation, and can get a pretty quick sense of someone's character. And then if I can tell they're at a decent enough level where they can hang with the team, even if they're at the lower part of the pack, usually about 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of practice for an incoming player, their game will go up a ton just by using lots of rituals, get them tournament tough, using lots of different mind-body techniques that will be embedded throughout their practices and match play. So they don't need to spend tons of time off the court doing some of these skills. They're just it's a natural extension of who they are as a person and how they can utilize that in their academics as well.
So I'm guessing, like everyone else, your student body has been sent home for some period of time. Are you out for the year, or has that been determined yet?
Yeah. So a lot of the even high schools in Maine, I believe they shut down high schools and middle schools elementary schools before even New York did, and when they got hit pretty hard with this, which is a really sad situation. I have a lot of family in New York too, and the for tennis teams, and actually, well, all the college play is just canceled for the spring season. So since we won our conference in the fall this year, we were supposed to play on May 3rd a crossover match with the winner of another conference that hasn't happened yet, and now won't get to happen. So due to this circumstance, the NCAA is putting some different clauses in to give student athletes opportunity to play more if they were going to be coming back to school again. And since our team has so many graduate degree-based student athletes, we actually have the majority of our team are in grad-based programs. So our two senior co-captains, even though they played their fall season, essentially that was their fourth fall season, they can actually now play next year. They're both going into their grad portion. So they were super excited to have that chance to play again next year.
Good for them. How are you keeping them focused on tennis, or using their tennis to keep them motivated, keep a routine going while they're, stuck in place wherever place happens to be?
Yeah. I think right now it's probably the biggest thing for them is just figuring out the whole working from home, because they're in a lot of tough classes. So we haven't been doing too much with the tennis end of things. If they can get out and go hit on the backboard or hit with someone and do everyone use a different ball for serving type of thing would be great, or visualizations. Hopefully they're continuing to use their deep breathing skills and things that we've worked on to mitigate their stress right now. But I think the biggest thing for them is just working on their academics, doing tennis related things when they can. They also all have, we have a strength and conditioning coach, and I work with her and she works with me. We each have different areas that we bring to the table when it comes to getting the muscles working appropriately, and good body balance and strength. So they can all be doing at-home workouts as well, and then hopefully by the summer they can get out and hit
Yeah,
more out on the courts.
let's hope so, for all of our sake, that we can get out and start having back at it again. I know that stress reduction in a tennis match can be a huge performance improvement, right? We get tight, we feel those things. Is there a way that you found that the players can maybe apply some of the techniques that they've been working on court in their everyday stress kind of things? I think you mentioned some of the breathing techniques. Is there anything else that you could suggest to somebody?
Yeah, definitely. I think the breathing techniques I would use generally first most with a potentially having a particular thought that you might link with the breath, something that you can say to yourself, or if there's a place that a player likes to go escape to. Like for me, there's a couple different waterfalls that I really enjoy, and if I maybe take a deep breath, think of that image, it can help relax the nervous system. So using that associative pairing, and I'm big on linking the breath with different things. So when you walk through a door, you can take a deep exhale first, allow the easy inhale, get it through the belly, ribs, and upper chest. You can do it before meals, after meals. When you're playing a point, once you're done, you switch the racket over to your non-dominant hand, do the exhale. And then other things that they're doing, which I think is really great, and it's a testament to the leadership that we have on our team with the co-captains, is they've set up their own Zoom calls with the players just to stay connected, which I think is really cool. I chatted with our co-captains the other day, and they said they were all on Zoom, and it was really nice to catch up with everyone. And so it's a really connected team. I think it's important to try to stay connected with like close friends and family. And it seems like a good time where people are reaching out to maybe people that they weren't even talking to before the crisis that we're in now. So I think social connection is important for keeping calm with things, and having someone that you can reach out to and talk to, people that you feel comfortable, that are non-judgmental, that you can have a chat with, and those kinds of things. And then yeah, of course, like if you're having self-defeating thoughts, just like on the court, if you can if one, be aware that you're having those thoughts, and then two, commit to figuring out how to get yourself more in the affirmative, such as like, I'm not doing well today, my backhand is awful, and just say things are going my way, and I'm smoking my backhand, and and a lot of times I will use the breath to link with these things, because I really do think that a lot of people are breathing too many times per minute, and in the upper chest. So getting the breath to a slower amount per minute, and into the deeper part of the lungs and with the diaphragm is critical. And then thinking the right thoughts can help with getting a release of positive chemicals in the brain. You can produce so many positive chemicals thinking good stuff. So I think that's important as well.
So when you're out looking for players, what does the ideal person who would fit on the women's team at Husson, what do they look like?
Yeah, I think an ideal person is if they had a decent amount of tennis background, and had a sense of doubles and singles, and knew what shots were their strengths and where they needed to work, and they were open-minded to work on getting continued feedback for improving different aspects of their game. That would be fantastic. Players that are supportive of not just themselves and constantly getting better, but also their teammates. Players that are willing to continue team cheers, and even if whether they're number one on the team or not starting, that they are going to bring the same energy as everyone else, and just work really well together, and want to keep improving. Obviously, the better the player they are coming in, that's great. But I'd always rather take someone that is not quite as skilled in tennis, but really motivated to improve, because they're going to be a lot more fun to work with, and also you can see that kind of person's potential, they can meet their potential that much faster when they have that kind of attitude, than someone that kind of thinks they have it.
And what does the academic profile of the student athlete look like?
The players here, it varies. So, for example, our tennis team has, in our past 5 years, generally had one of the highest GPAs of all the sports on campus, which is probably not too much of a surprise for women's tennis. They're all getting above a 3.5 most of the time on our team. I think last semester, this past fall when we were competing, I think our team had around a 3.9, which is very high. And as a school, though, it varies much more. I think it's on the higher end of an acceptance rate. It is a private university. I believe it's still and I think they've had this for a while, that Husson University is the lowest priced private university in New England. So that appeals to a lot of people, especially with the kind of niche programs that they have. So I think to get into a lot of the programs, it's not, you don't have to have like these super crazy SAT scores and GPAs. However, if you are looking to get into some of these specific physical therapy, doctor, or pharmacy type programs, they are looking for a higher GPA coming in, and to maintain a certain GPA to even stay in that program at Husson.
So it's a Not the hardest school to get into, but fairly rigorous once you're in, and it has some degree programs which are pretty strenuous along the way.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the degree programs are, I'd say, quite strenuous. Not strenuous enough where they can't play tennis for like a 5 week fall on a 5 week season and do some workouts in between the seasons. But if they're in those combined programs, um, there's professors from all over the world coming to teach these programs to them, and they're pretty specialized, and they're doing it in a shortened amount of time. So it's going to be that much more rigorous to kind of accelerate into 6 years instead of say 7 or 8 years. And then, of course, Husson has all the standard types of classes like education and business and psychology. There's also another niche kind of field, criminal justice. I believe we have a professor that was on what's that, CIA or whatever show.
CSI?
Yeah, sorry, CSI. Thanks. So yeah, there's all kinds of different programs. I think depending on the program, I think it's a pretty high acceptance rate, but some programs are harder to get into and harder to stay into.
Okay. We'll put your contact information in the description so that if someone were looking to find out more about Husson and felt like being in Maine would be a good place to be in college. And I'm from Massachusetts, and I actually went to a year of PG year of prep school in Bridgeton, Maine. So I'm familiar
nice. Okay, so
familiar with it, and yeah, it's a great place to be.
That's great.
So
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
love Maine so much.
And
Thank you, Dewey.
anything else that you'd like to share about your program or your philosophy with people that might be watching?
Well, I'm just very passionate about holistic health in general. So I think tennis is a great vehicle for self-improvement, and it's a lot of fun. It's good way to get exercise. I think as far as healthcare, and the more we can treat the cause and symptom at the same time, the better, and the less reliance on drugs and surgery unless it's absolutely needed. So I just like to encourage people to empower themselves to learn as much as they can about their body, and I think just getting a better sense of, for example, outside of the Husson seasons, I talk a lot about getting short muscles longer and long muscles shorter, which since muscles pull bones, they can help bring the body into alignment. And if people can just stretch and strengthen a few key areas every day, I think it will help cut healthcare down dramatically, and to not just be popping pills and having other people work on you. There's a few simple things that you could do every day. So I think that's probably something that I'm quite passionate about, and bring into the tennis program as well. Just take care of yourself, and that's important.
I love that. That's a great piece of information to kind of hang your hat on. Take and make long muscles shorter and short muscles longer. So trying to bring everything more towards the middle and more in balance. So that's a great tip. Well, thank you so very much for your time. We wish you the absolute best. And I'm guessing Maine might be one of those places where there aren't a lot of people in a small area, so the opportunity to kind of get back at it might come a little bit quicker than for some other places. And we wish you the best at getting back at it soon.
Thanks a lot, Dewey. And best to you too, and the programs out there.
Oh, thank you. Well, here we are, Monday, start of another week, Tennis 2020, real talk, real people, real life. Going to be another interesting week. The one thing we know is it's going to look a little different next week than it does this week. It might look a lot different. Wherever you are, continue to wash your hands, keep your hands away from your face, and be safe, be well. And we'll talk to you again.